To episode 34 of Warhammer Joey with me, Joey, and today's episode is going to be about women. Don't go. By women I don't just mean women gamers, but women within the hobby. Mums, partners, girlfriends, wives, sisters, friends, yeah, and everyone that it kind of affects that is not a typical gamer. And I'm going to start by saying I don't want to sound patronising in any way. This is really tricky to talk about without sounding Oprah-y, Oprah-ish, Oprah-esque, or yeah, just like a know-it-all when really I'm not. It's just I was on Ustream on, I think, Saturday night, and it's a live broadcast where I pretty much answer questions and talk to people, and yeah, it's quite interactive. And recently I've been getting a lot of questions as how would I get women into wargaming. I have no idea. A lot of people have also said that the channel is a good way to get women into wargaming, but that's not what it started out as, and that's not what I really had in mind. I didn't have anything in mind, but that wasn't a specific go women, it was just these are videos about wargaming that I do, and I just happen to be a girl. But yes, it might appeal and it might be a little bit more understandable, but it's typically for beginners, and that covers both men and women. So I've not tried to single women out, and thus the problem with this video. So I was chatting to Chung after Ustream, who's from WGConsortium and is kind of a co-producer, and we all work together along with other people. The links to all of them down below, and we're all kind of good friends, and I talk to Chung a lot, and as I guess kind of like an advisor and a friend, as to how I would approach the subject in this video. And we're both kind of at loose ends as to, on one hand, we can talk about women and the different kinds and really focus on all of the women YouTubers, as Bitsbox did, and that was really fun to watch, and they mentioned me and that was really kind, thank you for the mention. But I mean, that's within YouTube and is easy to talk about, but what's difficult is to talk about women in general that are part of the hobby, because does making a woman's segment really illustrate the fact that we are rarer, and then other women seeing that, would they not be completely put off by it, knowing that there are just not many in the hobby? Surely it should be a natural thing. So that's what I'm going to say to begin with, before I start on the questions that I've asked and just ramble a bit, to be honest, is that getting people into the hobby is, and can't really be, gender specific. You're either that way inclined or you're not. Personally, I've always been a gamer. I've never really thought about it too much one way or the other. I kind of just went into it to see what it was like. If I liked it, yes I do, continue. There's not been a, ooh, it is a bit nerdy though, and who really cares but you, and you know, the friends that you have know that you're who you are and are still your friends. So I've really never made that much of a deal about it. I think, as for how people have responded, I remember being asked, what were your friends' responses? Have you received any slack or any rudeness about the fact that you're in hobby? And no, not really, but my experience is going to be different to yours. Firstly, I do YouTube videos, so I kind of put myself out there. and I've received more nasty comments from the people within the hobby than I have people outside of it, which is just the way it is. It's difficult, but I don't think that that's because I'm a woman, that's because of personal interest. Either people like you or they don't. And that's just the way it goes. Maybe it is a female thing, but I'd prefer to think that it isn't. So what I asked on Facebook is how are your partners or friends, how do they respond to your hobby? Are they supportive? Are they not? How do you really deal with that? So, here we go. So, firstly we've got Ron Purvis, by the way. Anyone who has a weird surname or weird pronunciation, I'm so sorry. Ron says his wife totally supports his hobby, although she does ask where he gets the ugly armies. I'll get to ugly armies later, as I think that's kind of part of it. And Toby says his wife calls herself the Warhammer Widow, though she's fairly accepting. Ian Hendy Badger Henderson, who's an awesome guy, and I've met his wife. She's within it. She's a brilliant person and is very supportive. And lucky you. Lucky you. Caleb Goodson's wife is very supportive. Taught him some useful things as an artist. Oakland Hoffman, my grandmother hates it, and that I spend all my money, but his friends like it. Scott Burry, sorry I went off there. Other half has no interest in the hobby, whatsoever for herself, but I feel that she supports me as she drives me around to competitions and stuff. So reading through all of these, there are quite a few. Some partners really supportive, and I'd say that that's kind of the majority, which I wasn't expecting at all. And even if it's not in a taking part in it kind of a way, just the fact that they're like, whatever, good for you, or, you know, driving around, that's really great. And the rest have been kind of indifference as to wives not outright, you know, coming out and saying, so geeky, but, you know, just staying out of it. Nick Baton made a good point on the general rule in my house is the hobby stays in one room. I can do what I want in that room, posters, model codexes, sprues everywhere, paint up the walls, Slaneshi orgy. But it has to stay in that one room so it doesn't take over the whole house. Very true, and since then I've been using my kitchen table, and I've moved everything that I have over to my desk area, which is where I spend most of my time refreshing my Facebook page for comments and emails. So I thought I might as well put it all over in that space. The light's not great, but I have some bigger lights that I can use, you know, if I need to, as like a spotlight for bright natural light. So yeah, that's helped because I've kind of regained most of my kitchen, but then it's been taken over by a giant fish tank. I'll show you that at the end, and explain it to you as well. So yeah, surprisingly, most partners, and as you've read, just female members of family and stuff, have been pretty much supportive or indifferent. I haven't read any comment that's been like, my wife hates it with a fiery passion of hell, which is awesome, but then that would be bad if they did. Again, not trying to sound patronising, it's so difficult. So yeah, with that, I'd love to see what your partners, even just female friends, and just women in general, how it's responded to, because typically, even if I found even men that are friends of mine that don't care about Warhammer in any way, or wargaming in general, know what it is, but women just don't. As I didn't when I went into it in January. They just don't know what it is. So to explain it without sounding really, really nerdy is difficult to do. And then how do you sell that? And that was my next question. How do you sell Warhammer to a new girlfriend or boyfriend or friend? How do you sell it? It's cheap. It's so cheap. It's like a gift. With beer. And money. Oh hey! Would you like to play with my plastic and metal little dollies? It's fun, really. Wait, come back! No, none of those things. Many of you suggested to just explain it for what it is. The quick and easy one that I stick to is like chess, but you paint your own miniatures and play with them. And the rules are complicated, and there's maths involved, but then you get to get drunk and go to tournaments and probably see nude people. Seriously, that happened to me. Some of your suggestions were, just don't mention GW price costing and you should be easy. His words. Sean, not mine. Caleb Goodson says start out by finding out what that person likes and present models based upon that. I guess if we're talking women, lady models? I'll get to that later, god that's complicated. And yeah, just mostly show them pictures of different armies, talk about fluff. Are they into certain things, such as I love Lord of the Rings, therefore it kind of made sense, so I went with that. Painting, lots of ladies like the painting side of it. If you're having particular trouble, or just, I don't know, ask your new girlfriend, friend to paint a model with you and just see what it's like. And it's actually surprisingly difficult to do, but equally really fun. And yeah, that's some of the... I got quite a lot of comments on those. There's links to Facebook down below for the full list of them. But typically, everyone's pretty much said if it's for them, it's for them, and if it isn't, then it isn't. You know, find things that they might like, but don't be pushy, and that's important to do. Being pushy, as we all know, is awful. And you know, puts you off things anyway, so just make it about that person specifically. Oh, I do this, maybe you might like this instead. Have a look, this is pretty good. It is an easy way to go about it, but being with someone that's like-minded, there's a lot to say for it. And you know, if they're not, then don't expect them to want to be part of your hobby when it's your hobby. Don't expect anything of others. It would be great if they were interested, but equally, are you interested in shopping and handbags? Probably no. So, there we are. Not to stereotype all women as liking shoes and handbags, so on. See how this is difficult to talk about without completely stereotyping everyone involved. It's different people like different things, and I think that's really important for me to say, is that there are stereotypes of women, but they definitely don't always apply, and you can't apply a general rule to dating and meeting a new partner and then, you know, one size fits all solutions. It doesn't work that way. It's all individual, and you know, they might surprise you and be interested, they might not be, and that's what it is. But if maybe some of this information can help you, and if you have any suggestions as to how you would broach the subject or how you would sell Warhammer to even just another friend of yours, then comments down below, and maybe, you know, you can get some useful tips from other people. If, you know, you've got a good friend, and a good friend of mine came over recently and saw the models on my bookshelf and said, "What is that?" "It's Warhammer. That's the models that I painted." "Oh cool." She had a look at them and then said, "But what do you do with these?" And I said, "Well, I play with them a bit like chess, but each unit is like one piece and they all do different things pretty much, but there's lots of maths and rules involved. Some of them do magic. Oh, okay, was her response, and then we just moved on with our lives. I don't think she cared really, was just interested in what it was and left it at that. If your friend is interested, elaborate. If not, move on. You know, I certainly wouldn't. I think my mum would be a good example of someone who is completely indifferent and, I don't know, shrugs it off a little bit more. But equally, it's not something that would ever be for her, and I don't force it on her. I just tell her what's going on. What have you been doing? Oh, I've been doing this. Alright. And it's left there. It's not kind of, you know, elaborated onto the point that she's bored to tears, which she doesn't really care. So, you know, a lot of friends and partners may be like that, but that's what it is. That's the people that they are. Much like they don't understand what you're doing, you probably don't understand what they're doing. And life goes on.
You there? Would you like a spiffing new hobby? Well then why don't you do wargaming? All the chaps are doing it. That's right. How about ogres for your army? He's got a spiffing hat and everything. And some man breasts. No? It's not for you, is it? What about some 40k Necron? Oh. What about some Tomb Kit? Oh. How about this orc? No. Oh. I know. What about a wood elf? Yes, good girl. Toodaloo now.
So there has been my thoughts on wargaming and women within wargaming generally. It's always difficult to comment on, and I think it always will be. There's no easy way to talk about it without stereotypes being massively drawn upon. And I think the main thing to take from this is that the more you focus on how rare women are, the more it will stay that way. And yeah, it's difficult. People are interested because that's the kind of person they are, and I think male or female, doesn't really matter. We might take different things away from it, but ultimately we're still doing the same thing, so support that and not question it. You know, because when I started these videos initially, I had nothing but absolute doubt and complete denial that I was not some kind of ploy. And now that that's different, there's different issues about, you know, why I'm in the hobby. Why does it matter? To me, I'm just doing what I'm doing and having fun with it because, you know, the channel has not been aimed at women, which has often been said to me, like, oh, it's good to see you trying to get more women into the hobby, and that's not what I'm doing at all. That's not what I've ever decided to do in a conscious way anyway. I just do videos for beginners, and whatever gender that is, hopefully it's educational enough, or just, you know, beginner user friendly, because it's hard to get your head around at first because there are so many rules and it is so complicated, and it's not to make it seem more cool or more accessible or female friendly, it's just what it says in the tin. I'm talking about stuff to you, asking opinions, and maybe it will help others. That's it. And that's all it's going to be. Maybe I'll get more professional over time. When I get more knowledge, then I will share more knowledge, but you know, ultimately it's not about gender or types of gamers. I mean, it's good to see there are more women, and they're definitely popping up on YouTube quite a lot recently. There's Warhammer Ginge, there's two girls, one Dice, Lizzie and Annie, who I know in real life. And yeah, there's been, you know, there's obviously the real mithril and gold painting and stuff, and it's awesome to see that there are more women coming into it, and just talking about whatever they're doing or offering advice, but it shouldn't necessarily have to be this glaring, how strange is it that there are women involved. It just is. There's hundreds of videos, most of which men, and yeah, maybe it just offers a different perspective, but this is mine. It's not probably 100% accurate, or, you know, hopefully there's been no offence taken by it, and I'm really trying my best not to stereotype in any way, but I guess Warhammer itself is stereotyped so much. That's why women are kind of seen as this mystical force. Well, it should be. We're all interested in the same thing, and it should be a support community thing, and not, you know, so odd. Making it less odd for everyone. So there we go, that was my video and thoughts on women wargamers, but this is my ridiculous fish tank that I got on eBay, because my one broke. Let me show you. There, huge crack in it. So instead, there's this monstrosity instead. My fish look happy, but I'm not so much. But thanks for watching. Like if you like this, subscribe if you want to, and thoughts and comments down below. My shoulder's burnt. Ow.